The final bell of the year shrieked through Glen High. Lockers slammed shut, papers flew like confetti. Summer was here, and my friends and I, Liam, Maya, Chloe, Noah, and me, were ready for adventure. We wanted to do something unforgettable, break into the old, abandoned science wing. The place was sealed for 50 years, haunted by rumors and ghost stories. We made a pact to meet at dusk. Liam held up a rusty key. The warning was clear: never open that door. But we couldn't resist. Our adventure was about to begin. The key groaned in the lock, echoing in the silent evening. The door to the old science wing creaked open, releasing a wave of musty, cold air. We stepped inside, phones as flashlights revealing peeling paint and cobwebs. We split up. I explored the main hallway alone. A locker door creaked open by itself. Suddenly Maya screamed. We rushed to the biology room and found her pointing at the chalkboards, written in fresh chalk, "Get out." Chloe found an old class photo. In the back row was a girl who looked just like Maya, wearing her necklace. Before we could react, the door slammed shut, plunging us into darkness. Panic set in. We fumbled for our phones, our shaky hands making it almost impossible to turn on the lights. When we finally did, something was wrong. Someone was missing. Noah was gone. We called his name, our voices echoing in the terrifying silence of the sealed room. There was no answer. The room, which had seemed so large just moments ago, now felt like a tiny cage. The air was thick and heavy, making it hard to breathe. We were trapped. The door wouldn't budge, no matter how hard we pushed and kicked against it. The words on the chalkboard seemed to glow faintly in the dark. Then, a new sound started. A soft, rhythmic tapping. It was coming from inside one of the large specimen cabinets that lined the wall. Tap, tap, tap. Liam, trying to be brave, slowly approached it. He reached out a trembling hand and pulled the cabinet door open. There was nothing inside but empty glass jars covered in a thick layer of dust. But as the door swung open, the tapping stopped, and a new message appeared on the chalkboard right before our eyes, the chalk moving by itself. It spelled out a single, chilling word: run. That was all the convincing we needed. Suddenly the door flew open on its own, slamming against the hallway wall. We didn't wait to ask questions. We scrambled out of the classroom, tripping over each other in a desperate attempt to escape. But the school had changed. The long, straight corridor we had walked down was now a confusing maze of twisting hallways and dead ends. Doors appeared where there had been none before, and hallways stretched on into impossible darkness. Laughter, a young girl's laughter, echoed all around us, seeming to come from the walls themselves. It was playful, but it was also full of malice. We ran blindly, our phone lights bouncing off the walls, creating dancing, monstrous shadows. We could hear footsteps behind us, but when we looked back, there was never anyone there. We were being hunted. We finally saw a glimmer of light at the end of a long hall, the door we had come through. With our last bit of strength, we sprinted towards it, burst through the doorway, and didn't stop running until we were back under the safety of the street lights, gasping for air. We had escaped the science wing, but we had left Noah behind, and we knew deep down that the haunting was far from over. The next few days were a blur of police questions and worried parents. We told them what happened, but nobody believed us. They said Noah probably just ran away. They searched the school, including the old science wing, but found nothing. The door was locked and bolted, just as it had been for 50 years. There was no sign of a break-in, no sign of Noah. It was as if our entire nightmarish adventure had never happened. But we knew the truth. Chloe, Liam, and I stuck together, too scared to be alone. Maya was the worst. She wouldn't leave her house, convinced the ghost of her great-aunt's twin was coming for her next. A week after that night, an envelope appeared on my doorstep. It had no stamp and no return address. My name was written on the front in messy, childish handwriting. My hands shook as I tore it open. Inside was a single piece of paper, a page torn from an old-school notebook. It was a letter, and it was from Noah. It said, "It's not a ghost. It's the building. It's alive. It wants us to stay and play forever. Don't come back for me. You can't get out." The words were scribbled frantically, as if he had written them in a great hurry. My blood turned to ice. But that wasn't the worst part. Tucked behind the letter was another photo. It was the same old class picture from 1975 that we had found on the teacher's desk in the biology room. It was dusty and faded, but there was one horrifying difference. A new person had been added to the back row. Standing right there next to Maya's grandmother's long-lost twin sister was Noah. He was smiling, but his eyes were wide with terror. He was wearing the clothes he had on the night he disappeared. He was now part of the class of 1975. We never went back to Glen High. We couldn't. Every time I even look at the school, I can almost hear the faint sound of a girl laughing and the echo of a swinging locker door. The science wing is still there, sealed and silent, holding its dark secrets. But now it holds one of our secrets too. It has Noah. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder if the building is still waiting. I wonder if it's waiting for the rest of us to come back and join the class, to stay and play forever.